I love this reading. I know, it might seem boring to some and savage to others, but to me, it is so interesting that I have had a really hard time picking what I want to talk about. When it comes to Vayikra, I'm like a poodle on meth. Okay, the whole point of the offerings is that we're investing what we've created. We can only bring animals from our flocks. Wild animals can't be offered. We bring our crops, not, with a few key exceptions, fruit, which are gifts from God. We bring the stuff Adam couldn't. We, unlike him, are productive, creative people who can walk in the image of God. With these offerings, we can establish a relationship with him. Of course, when we invest what we create, we're investing a part of ourselves. All of the offerings contain some aspect of us, the aspect that is relevant to the message of the offering itself. On the most general level, every animal offering we bring has holiness within it. It's just expressed physiologically. Chickens, turkeys, ducks, and geese are all kosher, but we don't offer them. We only offer doves. Why? Because doves are the only kosher bird that produces milk for its young. They physiologically invest their creation in the timeless, and so they can represent us. Okay, let's get on to some specifics. As I'm sure you've heard, the word korban comes from the word close. The offerings are about drawing close to God. The question is, how? Let's say we've got a guy named Bnei Yisrael. We'll call him Bnei Israel. So, he lays eyes on a truly singular Shechina. It's got to happen sometime, right? Or at least once. Bear with me. Well, he'll buy that Shechina flowers. It isn't exclusive or nothing. It's just an expression of his will. The point isn't that he's rich. The singular Shechina is loaded. It's that he's investing in what he hopes will be a beautiful relationship. It's an offering of will, a transfer. That's an olah offering, an elevation offering to God. It is a male animal because the male represents will. In a reproductive sense, the male has the unique power of positive will. Now, Bnei Israel might buy this unique Shechina a drink, but he's not alone. All offerings didn't require an exclusive relationship. But let's say things get more serious. Now he wants to demonstrate not just will, but a level of dedication, refinement, and emotional involvement in the growing relationship. He's laying it on thick. This is a mincha offering, which is meant to influence. Yaakov sent gifts to the man in Egypt in order to influence, and it was called a mincha. How do you show dedication, refinement, and emotion? Flour, which required a lot of work to make, showed dedication. Oil, which required multiple rounds of purification, showed refinement. And incense, which touches our emotional nerves, demonstrated emotional involvement. Voila! Next thing you know, Bnei Israel and the unique Shechina are getting engaged. He wants to show he's all in. He is totally dedicated. This is Zevach Shlamim. The Mizbeach converts the physical into the spiritual. It represents a sort of flowing change. And Shalom doesn't only mean high, it can also mean complete. Zevach Shlamim shows Benny is completely into this relationship. As part of the animal offering, he burns up the kidneys and the lobe of the liver, which represents purification. He also burns the diaphragm, which separates the digestive and reproductive functions, and thus the holy cycle, from the heart and lungs. In a way, it encases the holy cycle. Finally, he burns up the chelav, the fats that sustain the animal in dire emergencies, and thus represent its core investments in survival over time. They represent its short-term holiness. Benny is dedicating the three aspects of closeness to God: the cycle of investment, the dedication to purity, and the core holiness which emerges from the two. By the way, this offering doesn't appear until the end of Parshat Mishpatim. It is unique to the Jewish people and their relationship to God. But it does appear before the Mishkan. Okay, so now Bnei Israel and the Shechina move in together. They build a nice little Mishkan in the desert, but then Benny screws up, so he gets the Shechina a gift, a chatat offering. Somehow, through the mystery of relationships, that makes it all better. This kind of thing can only happen when a couple is together. The level of the mess really demonstrates which gift he gets. Sheep and goats represent rambunctiousness. They're a good choice for individuals. Females are offered because the female represents actualization, not will. Basically, you screwed up, you're rambunctious, I love that word, but you didn't mean to do it. Not really. It's all better now, which is pretty cool. But when a leader or the nation screws up, they bring a bull, representing the nation's will. The whole didn't mean to thing doesn't apply. Then, one time, Bnei Israel gets confused or confuses others. Well, that can cause problems. Avimelech said after discovering Sarah was Abraham's wife, "You would have brought us a sham." It is a sin caused by blindness or the sin of causing blindness. Relationships rely on honesty and clarity. So if you get confused or confuse others, you bring an asham offering. Interestingly, only the middle tier asham requires an olah offering. The poor person lacks resources, and so they might resent the olah. And the rich person can choose to bring their own olah easily. They are aware of their resources and capabilities. But the middle person is reminded of their spiritual capabilities by the obligation to bring an olah as part of the asham. You pay attention because the relationship is worth it. Finally, Bnei Israel pawns some of the Shechina's jewelry to buy himself a watch. Not a good thing. In return, he has to buy the jewelry back and bring a ram as an offering of fear and submission. He won't do that again, am I right? Looked at in this light, the offerings from the Olah to the Mincha to the Asham give us the tools to both strengthen and repair our relationship to God. Remarkably, in the Chatat offerings, both can be accomplished at once. Poodle out.